Hey, let's go ahead and check out the vocab for week 2. So, this is how it's going to work for vocabulary. Every 2 weeks, we're going to have a quiz, a vocabulary quiz, and these 5 words might be on them. And the activities in the slideshow are practice to help you learn the words. It's week 2, which means that you're going to have a quiz this week. So it would be to your advantage to study them and make sure you know what they mean. And in terms of the slideshow, you do not have to complete the practice help for a grade, but it's going to be part of the quiz, which is an assessment. So it's really important to use that as much as possible. So, arroyo, cloister, awry, venture, and culture. Those are your 5 words. Let's go ahead and check them out. Arroyo. What? Arroyo. It's a noun. And the definition is a dry gully or hollow in the earth's surface, similar to a ravine or canyon found in the southwestern United States. Sentence. The big cottonwood tree stood apart from a small grove of winter-bare cottonwoods which grew in the wide sandy arroyo. So, I think the picture is kind of a good example of this. Arroyo is kind of like a canyon or ravine. And you'll see that more in the southwest than here. Unless you go into like eastern Oregon, I think you'll find some arroyos as they're, heading towards the Snake River. So, cloister is a noun. A place devoted to religious seclusion. Usually a covered space in a monastery, convent, or cathedral. So in the example here, it is the priest turned away from the Leon. Jump cut, now I can see it. So cloister is a noun. The definition is a place devoted to religious seclusion, usually a covered space in a monastery, convent, or cathedral. The sentence that we're going to look at this is, the priest turned away from Leon and looked out the window at the patio full of shadows and the dining room windows of the nuns' cloister across the patio. That's our second word. Word number 3, awry. And I think if you actually listen to the reading that I gave, I most certainly mispronounced this. We all make mistakes. Not with videos though. This stuff is seamless. Awry. It's an adjective. It means not straight, askew, or crooked. So something's not right sometimes, or something's crooked. So I think the best thing is looking at like an old building, an old brick building, and that comes from our sentence here. It was utterly in ruins. Most portions of it were mere mounds of old brick. The walls were awry. The doors were shut to the main doorway, and brambles and thickets grew over and covered them. There we are. Venture. It's an action involving risk. I think a lot of times I associate with adventure with venture. And the sentence is, I said as a venture, it is unlikely you will be troubled anymore. So, the risk is that he didn't know how this person would react, but he still took it to see what was going to happen. And then finally, culture. Is it finally? Yeah, it is. Culture. I teach English, not math. I can count to 4. Culture. Definition: the customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group. So, the sentence here, culture is just an accumulation of things that help build a social group and define and differentiate a social group. After moving across the world, it was important for their family to keep aspects of their culture and customs as they adjusted to their new home in America. So those are our definitions. I always encourage you to write these down, use them as flashcards so that you can practice for the quiz. And here's a practice quiz, but we're not going to do it here. That's a waste of time. So good luck, and I'll see you on the next assignment.